Oh, a lot of things right now coming up. It's really great. I'm very enthused about it, feeling very blessed and grateful. Just another day, the record with the music video was a complete success. My management team loved it. It's opened more doors. I've been approached by more producers to work with me, which is very awesome because I'm always looking for new people to work with. And so we're just kind of getting ready for August. August we got coming up. We're going to be shooting a brand new music video on the 11th and the 12th with Adrian Arroyo, who directed my last video, which is nice. He's very talented, smart kid. Also, he's very hungry. And I'm projecting and working on a new project with Ronnie Cane and possibly a feature with John B, who are my musical heroes, John B and Ronnie King. So I'm definitely putting out the prayers that that can all come together. And let's see, what else? I'm going to be on the Red Light District Show August 25th, which is perfect timing because we'll be releasing the new song on the 25th and the new music video. So the whole purpose is just to keep things moving, and the goal is to release a brand new video, music video, interview, whatever, just to keep the public entertained and aware of what's going on. I mean, you got to keep it moving. You can't slow down, and when the momentum's there, you got to ride with it. So I'm just kind of buckling my seatbelt and just going with the flow. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. I mean, the whole purpose of me creating music is just to get my music out to the world. And if they respond good to it, I mean, it's a good thing for me and for everybody else because I just want to make music that people are going to really gravitate to. The publicity is good. I mean, when I first started in the music business working with Ronnie King in '09, I had a lot of publicity back then. And then things kind of sputtered out. And now that things are kind of back on track again, it's really good. It's raising my confidence. It makes me feel better every day. The number of views on YouTube just keeps climbing. The number of fans I'm gaining on social media is amazing. So, I mean, it is a really good thing. And I'm very blessed and grateful for it all. It's nice. Oh, God. So, I started doing the rap thing. I started writing raps, God, I want to say in '04, maybe '05. And I've been playing guitar since I was 19, so the songwriting has always been there. But the matter of taking it serious or turning it into an actual career, that all didn't come about until 2009. I had just moved to Newport Beach. I scored a really awesome job. My boss paid for everything to move to Newport Beach. I was living in Oxnard at the time. He paid for me to move. And I remember talking to my cousin Andre, and I told him I was actually doing an acoustic album at that time. And I told him, I said, watch, I'm going to move to Orange County. I'm going to start a band, and we're going to get offered a record deal. So I moved to Orange County. I formed a band with Richard Galegas and a drummer named Patrick Logan. And the momentum we gained and the actual great response, we were playing shows every day, and we placed third for the Warped Tour Battle of the Bands. And a man by the name of Drew Gerges, who I'm thankful for my career because he's the one who discovered me when I was living out there. This was when I was doing reggae music. He told me to look up Ronnie King, and I had never heard the name. I did not know who he was. So I Googled it, and I saw his accolades and the accomplishments he's had in the music business, and I was like, wow, actually a chance to meet this guy. So I had booked a meeting with him at the recording studio that I was working at the time, California Sound Studios. And I'm listening to this song by Tupac and John B, Are You Still Down? It was a super smash hit in the 90s. One of the last records that actually Tupac had recorded while he was still alive. And as I show up to the studio, I'm kind of nervous and I'm bumping this song because it's my favorite song. It relaxes me. And I walk into the studio, and the first thing I see as soon as I open the door into the lobby is a platinum plaque with Ronnie King's name on it for that song. So I'm kind of just bugging out. I was young at the time. And by the way, I'm still young. But I was bugging out. I mean, like, what? How is that possible? The song that I'm listening to, this guy I'm going to meet is worked on that record. So he walks out of the office, and I knew it was him instantly. I could just tell. He just had the way he carried himself, his appearance. He just looked like a music producer, a record producer. And I'm like a kid in the cancer. Like, are you Ronnie King? Are you Ronnie King? Like, whoa, bro, you have no idea. Look, I was just listening to that record. And he's like, come on, dude. Nobody listens to music from the 90s. And be in mind, this is 2009. So I'm like, dude, honestly, I'm listening to this. I was listening to the song on my way to meet you. I was like, I'll prove it. So we walked to my truck. I was driving. I had an SUV at the time, and I was on probation for my DUI, and I had a breathalyzer. So he's bugging out because I'm doing the breathalyzer just to start just so I could play the song. And I played the song, and it was on a dubbed cassette tape because I didn't have a CD player in my SUV. And he's bugging out, and he's like, "Where are you from, kid?" I'm like, "I'm from Oxnard." I'm like, "What? You're from Oxnard? I know about Oxnard." And we kind of just hit it off, and so we had planned, I auditioned for him and I played some songs that I wrote on guitar, some reggae records, and he was into it. He was just like, wow, let's work. And we jammed out and we were drinking some beers and smoking a little bit of pot, and we just vibed. It was a great vibe, and we went into the studio about 3 weeks later to work on a record, High Tide, and that was the first time I had ever worked with a real-time producer. And the vibe was set. He set up like a projector with waves crashing from Hawaii. Like, he was really into the vibe of the whole thing. I had my cousin Andre with me. I think we had like an ounce of weed on us, and it was crazy. So I go into the booth and I start recording my guitar track, and everyone's nervous because I'd never really played to a click track, and it just happened. Everything worked out. And we worked for 8 hours that day. It was amazing seeing this man work. I mean, his expertise and his ear and him playing piano and different instruments and his ideas. Like, I had never seen a song grow to something like that on that level. And we worked about 8 hours. The studio was really excited on me, and they invited a bunch of people to come through and watch me work, and it was amazing. But the hardest part, I was so worked up and amped up that I couldn't do vocals that night for some reason. I don't know, maybe it was too much pressure or what, but I just couldn't get my vocals down. And so we called it quits for the day, and I showed up the next morning and ended up being able to track the vocals that I wanted. And the next day after that, I was offered a record deal by Wright Records by Nathan Wright and Frank Wright. Frank Wright was one of the guitarists for Chicago. I believe he was one of the founding members of the band Chicago, and he was a guitarist for Sonny and Cher. And I was offered this record deal. I spent about a week maybe thinking about it, and then I finally signed. And that's when I realized, like, whoa, like, I can actually do something with music. It's no longer just a hobby. This is actually something I can do and make money. And, you know, I'm not bragging or anything, but I actually do it very well. So the momentum was going, and we ended up going into the studio a month later to start cutting tracks. We ended up cutting 3 more tracks. Pretty much had an EP done. And yeah, the momentum, I was getting a lot of publicity in Orange County at that time, which was great. And that's kind of how everything started, and just been riding out the wave. I mean, there's highs and lows in the music business, just like anything else. And it feels good to be back where I left off in '09. Oh, Ronnie Cane, man, I'm indebted to this man for teaching me the ropes, not only about creating music, but actually being in the music business. And there are people that have showed me. Shout out to Elias Batiste. He was the one that kind of gave me my first schooling on the music business about publishing and stuff. But Ronnie, it's more than just a business relationship. We've become really close friends. He's been my mentor. When I have questions about things, he'll always take my calls. He's always been there for me. He's been there. He's a great human being, and he's someone I aspire. I aspire to the things he has done. He does great things. He's a great humanitarian. The ranch in Coachella Valley is awesome. If you ever want to record in an awesome environment, I recommend you contact him and book something at the ranch. I've been blessed to spend time at the ranch with him, and I mean, he's a really good friend. He's like a brother to me, and like I said, he's been my mentor. I've learned so much about creating music and being in the music business because of him. Like I said, I'm indebted to this man, and if I would have never met him, I probably wouldn't be here doing this interview. I mean, that's for sure. I've definitely come a long way with his help. Dylan. Okay. So I was working on a project. My publicist at the time, Elia Esparza, She was helping me out a lot. She's a great, great woman, very loving, very loving. Just don't talk politics with her. Hell yeah. But, oh God, so, you know, Elia introduced me to some people, one of them being Raquel Mejia. And Raquel Mejia is a business manager in the music business. And there was this record, I was sent an email in November of 2016 that I didn't even pay attention to. It was an email from Elia. I thought it was just a PR blast, you know, just junk mail coming in. And then a couple weeks later, I get another email from her, and it's about working with Kenny OBrien. Now, Kenny OBrien, he's been in the music business for about 60 years. He's a 5-time Grammy-winning producer in the music business. And I met him, and I had always tried to be blessed with the opportunity to work with him. And finally, everything was going to come together, because honestly, I was broke, and I didn't have enough money to work with Kenny OBrien. I mean, when you're working with a 5-time Grammy-winning producer who's worked with the likes of Andrea Bocelli, Christina Aguilera, Celine Dion, I mean, the list goes on of the people he's worked with, it doesn't come cheap. And that's one thing people need to understand. Nothing in the music business is free. And so the opportunity came up. It was to work at a recording studio in Burbank. It was a collaboration record that we were going to be doing in English and in Spanish, and Raquel Mejia was in charge, and she was the executive producer of everything. And it just so happened Kenny OBrien was going to be the vocal producer. So I read the email, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, I'm going to have the opportunity to work with Kenny OBrien? Like, wow, and I'm not even having to pay for him? So I believe we were working in January. And so I went down to Burbank with my brother and my sister-in-law. I show up. I didn't know anybody in the building, and it was my first time meeting Elia in person, my publicist at the time. And so, I mean, I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of ego in the room. Everyone thought they were the shit. I mean, I felt like I was just somebody that nobody had ever heard of, and I was going to be on this record. So, it was my turn to go into the booth and sing my part. Everyone had a part. There was about 20, maybe 25 different vocalists, and the only guys in there was me and another gentleman. So it's my turn. I'm in the second verse, and I was just gonna sing one line. This, like I said, this was a collaboration record with the same concept of "We Are the World," record done in the '80s. And so I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. And they play it. They play the music, and I start singing. And Kenny OBrien's like, "Stop, stop, stop! Relax, relax, relax. Your timing's off." And I'm like, okay. But here's the thing: the pitch of the music, the key that the song was in a key I've never sang before. So here we go, take two, and take two. My timing was off, and I couldn't feel my vocals. I didn't feel like I had the vocal range to do this. So he says on the third take, before we do the third take, he puts his hand up and he's like, "Look, just watch me. Watch me in the control room, and when I point to you, that's when I want you to start singing." And he points to me, I sing, and I sing in a voice that I've never sang. My vocals, I'd never sang like this ever before in my life. I did my part, and the entire studio goes silent. And Kenny talks back to me, and he's like, "How did you do that?" And you gotta understand, he's from Venezuela. And he's a Latino, and he has a heavy accent. And he's like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "What? I don't know. I don't know. Why? Is it no good?" And he was like, "No, you sing like a cowboy. Like, you remind me of Bob Dylan." And I didn't know how to take that. I was like, okay. I was kind of shocked, but I didn't know how to take that compliment. So I was like, okay. But here in mine, Elia comes running out of the control booth, and she's yelling, "That's it. That's it. That's it. From now on, you are Dylan." And I thought it was a joke. And so I thought about it for a while. It took maybe about a month and a half till I finally was sold on it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with Dylan. I like it. Dylan Garcia sounds pretty cool. And nothing wrong with my given name, Abel, but my dad's named Abel, my grandfather's named Abel, so I'm Abel the Third. And I kind of wanted to make a mark for myself. So I decided to go with the change of Dylan. and I've stuck with it ever since. I usually introduce myself to new people as Dylan. And the people that know me best in my family, they call me Abel still. But yeah, I like going by Dylan. It's a cool story behind it. Influences, God. I mean, I listen to so much range of music. I can't really pinpoint any one particular person, but also influences with my music and inspiration come from friends, family, loved ones, women, people I've come in contact with. I mean, I get inspiration from many different avenues. But one of my main influences, I would just say this in general. My main influences is I listen to a lot of hip hop music, rap music, alternative music, acoustic music, singer-songwriter music. I listen to so much, I can't point anything, so I'm just going to say that everything influences me. Oh, my biggest motivation has to be my son. Um, I mean, I brought a child into this world, and he's always motivating me to improve myself as a person and as a better human being. And what I'm trying to accomplish, probably the most important thing I'm trying to accomplish is just to get the message out there. Good vibes, positive energy, making good music that people enjoy, telling good stories. And I just want the world to hear it. I just want the world to hear it. That was always been my main objective ever since I started in the music business. It was never about trying to make a quick buck. Everyone knows that's in the music business, it's not that easy. So if I can accomplish that goal by spreading my music to the entire world, then the rest is history. Yeah, I I've been dealing with my mental illness. I'm diagnosed as schizoaffective, which is a mix between schizophrenia and bipolar. I've been dealing with this untreated and undiagnosed probably since I was about 22, 23 years old was when I started noticing something was different. Um, you know, I would like to say it was a major setback because I had everything going for me. I had money behind me, I had the record label, I had Ronnie Cane, I had so many things behind me. And then my mind slipped into darkness and it was something I couldn't control. Um, and I didn't really quite understand it until maybe about a year had passed by, um, of what was going on mentally with me. But the one thing that helped me the most was acceptance and realizing that there are millions of people living with these issues and these problems with their mental state. And once I realized that I wasn't the only one, that I was singled out, that I wasn't singled out, I mean, that what made the huge difference. Uh, I mean, I had everything going for me, and I kind of lost it all, and I had to start from scratch and climb my way back up. And that was probably one of the most toughest phases of adversity that I've ever been through. Um, but when I was able to find the right medication that would keep my mind mellow and stable, that was probably the biggest and most positive aspect of being mentally ill. And I attended support groups, which was nice because I met other people, and I mean, just talking. And the reason why I advocate is because there's such a big stigma behind it. And maybe one of you that's watching this right now has something going on. And what I've learned is you can't judge people. Everyone has their own problems. And I just want to be there to help. And if I can put a voice to it, and being in the position that I'm in the music business, where I'm exposed and I create music and people listen to music, to be in that position of power, to have an influence, a positive influence for the people who are mentally ill, is a very great reward. Oh, God, probably goes back to one of the past questions. Um, I bought my first guitar when I was 19. I was going to UC Irvine at the time, and I was dating Amanda Gerber. And we dated while in college. It was kind of like one of my first loves, and she dumped me on New Year's Eve, as a matter of fact. And I'd always wanted to learn to play guitar. A lot of my friends were in bands in high school and everyone was making music, and I always wanted to create music myself. So that day I had a lot of money saved up. I had a good job when I was in college, and I had a lot of money saved up. It was a good Christmas, and I decided to buy myself a guitar on Christmas Eve when I got done. And all I wanted to do was write songs about being done. And it wasn't easy, but once I got the hang of it, I practiced every day. I practiced that guitar every day. And when I finally was able to get to the point where I could play a little bit and I could write songs, that's when I realized, like, wow, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to do. Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, Drew Gerges for finding my music on MySpace back in '09, because everything changed when you introduced me to these people. Shout out to my son, Santiago, Gabriella. I would like to give a shout out to my parents, my family, brother, sister, sister-in-law, baby Frank. God, I know there's so many people that come to mind. I would like to give a shout out to Ronnie Cane for always having my back. Give a shout out to Riley Real for being a good friend in the music business. Give a shout out to my management team, DLH Media, and my manager, Darnell Hodges. Shout out to my first publicist, Elia Esparza. Thank you, Elia, for everything. Shout out to Raquela. Shout out to Mila Nieves, Patty Nueves. Let me think, who else? I want to give a shout out to Adrian Arroyo for making a lot of things happen for me. Shout out to Raymond. Keep rapping. Don't give up. And God, there's so many people that I can think of. A shout out to all the fans. Shout out to all the fans for listening to the music, for enjoying it, supporting me, and the people that have been there since day one. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to Spotify. I'm verified on Spotify. I want to give a shout out to them. And also, last but not least, I would like to give a shout out to Nathan Wright for signing me and giving me an opportunity back in '09. I know things didn't work out, but I learned a lot from you as well. And everyone else, if I forgot to mention you, I do apologize. I'm on the spot right now. Oh God, and don't let me forget my producers, Waze Wiz from Russia. I've worked with him on many tracks. Shout out to DJ Nady from New York, producer for Just Another Day. And also I want to give a shout out to Teddy Ortiz. Much love to him. We're working together on some things. Yeah, so I'm Dylan. You know that. Dylan Garcia. Don't forget to check me out on Spotify. Follow me on Spotify. Stream music on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, however you want to get it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dylan Garcia Official. You can find me on all of social media, Facebook and Instagram as Dylan Garcia Music. You can get me on Snapchat and Twitter as Real Dylan Garcia. And my website, DylanGarciaMusic.com. You can find me there. And yeah, say what's up. Don't be shy. Got my love for everybody. Peace.